Everyone, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
No.
The flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. If you'd please call roll.
Bilski,
Yes.
Perry, Barron,
Here.
Braverman, Klein,
Here.
Kluter,
Yes.
Duber.
Yes, I'd make a motion to excuse Lisa Perry from the meeting tonight. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. If you'd call roll on that, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Braverman, Klein, Kluter,
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. And can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the special council meeting of October 3rd, 2018? I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Anybody have any comments on the minutes? I see shaking heads. Okay, if you'd call roll, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Barron, Braverman, Klein, Kluter,
Stain.
Duber.
Yes. And now, can I have a motion to confirm the appointment of Scott Arcangeli
So moved.
for part-time fire lieutenant?
No, yeah, where
Is there a motion? Yes. Is there a second?
Good.
Heard it. Chief, if you'd like to come up and say a little bit.
Want to make sure I'm on television. Correct. So our first one tonight, we're asking for the confirmation of Scott Arcangeli to fire lieutenant. Scott has been with Orange Village for 21 years. He's also been with Garfield Heights for 15 years, 8 years at Bath Fire Department where he's a lieutenant, and he's also a lieutenant at Garfield Heights also. Before that, he was a packaging engineer. He had 9 years of that, and he received his bachelor's degree from a different school, not in Ohio. It is a little better. It is Michigan State, so we'll give him that. He's been a hazmat tech for 16 years, and he has a ton of certificates that I will not go over tonight.
Thank you.
All right, if you'd please call roll.
Barron,
Yes.
Braverman, Klein, Kluter,
Yes.
Duber.
Who's here with you tonight, Scott?
Unfortunately, it's just myself.
Just you?
All these people.
Picture for him to send home to the folks?
Doesn't write home with the kids.
I state your name.
I, Scott William Arcangeli,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the rules, regulations,
the rules and regulations,
and Charter of Orange Village,
and Charter of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as Lieutenant of the Fire Department
as Lieutenant of the Fire Department
of Orange Village,
of
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
You're there. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, proud to have you wear this. Congratulations.
And we can move on. Can I have a motion to confirm?
Let him say.
Oh, you can do your. Hey, congratulations.
Let me have the victory parade at least, you know?
Congratulations. Thank you.
Motion to confirm the appointment of Nicholas Kaminsky as part-time fire lieutenant. Make a motion. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Barron. Chief?
Hi, we're looking for the confirmation of Nick Kaminsky tonight to part-time fire lieutenant. Nick has been with Orange Village for 11 years. He's been at Warrensville Heights for, we'll call it 7 years. From what I hear, he's next to be in line for a lieutenant's spot there. He's got an associate's degree in fire science, and he also has numerous certifications that I am not going to list. And Nick, would you like to introduce who you brought with you tonight?
Yes, I have my wife Jackie, my son AJ, my mother-in-law Freddie, and my father-in-law Ray.
Yay.
And his brother, Ray, that's in the organization. We've only known each other for 33 years.
Wait, they haven't voted yet.
Yep. So if you'd please call roll.
Bilski.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Braverman. Klein.
Aye.
Yes.
You can come on up now.
Stand wherever you would like to take a picture.
I state your name.
I, Nick Kaminsky,
Solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
regulations,
the rules, regulations,
and Charter of Orange Village,
and Charter of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
As Lieutenant of the Fire
Department
as Lieutenant of the Fire Department
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
and during my continuance in said office.
Congratulations, it's official now. Here, take everyone's hand and come back and sign this.
How old are you?
Congratulations.
Yes, sign yours.
Get you a copy suitable for framing. Congratulations.
And moving on, I would make a motion to confirm the appointment of Cammie Klaus for part-time firefighter. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Yes. We'll get there.
Yes, we're looking for the confirmation of Cammie Klaus to firefighter part-time on the fire department. Cammie is a firefighter and a paramedic. She comes to us from, worked at Hinckley for a little bit, Hinckley Fire, and currently she works at South Point Hospital as a medic in the emergency room. She does have a lot of experience. She worked on life care out in Lorain County, which is quite busy. She helps out at the fire academy, so she does have quite a bit of experience.
Thank
And
you.
she's energetic and dynamic.
If you would please call roll.
Bilski.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Braverman. Klein.
Yes.
Luter.
Yes.
Duber.
Yes, if you could please come up.
Want to introduce us to who's with you?
Absolutely. This is my sorority sister Miranda, my boyfriend Alex, my dad Gary, and my mom Jean.
And Dad is a fire and where?
Warrensville Heights.
Would you like to come
Up and take pictures, or? Warrensville Heights.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
I state your name.
I, Cammie Klaus,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will
Support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the rules, regulations,
the rules and regulations,
and Charter of
Orange
Orange
Village,
and Charter of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge
my duties
discharge my duties
as part-time firefighter and paramedic
as part-time firefighter and paramedic
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Okay, ready to work tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations.
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 Thanks.
And I will make a motion to confirm the appointment of Nick Kovach for part-time firefighter. Is there a second? Thank you. Chief?
Looking for the confirmation of Nick Kovach to firefighter part-time on the fire department. Nick is a firefighter too. He's a paramedic. He currently, for the past 7 months, has worked at Lakewood Fire Department. Prior to that, he worked at North Randall, and he does have a bunch of certificates that I'm not going to list. Want to introduce who you're here with?
This is my mom, Cynthia Kovach.
If you'd call roll, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Braverman,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Luder,
Yes.
Stuber.
Yes. If you can come up for the mayor swear you in.
Thank you.
They go through the metal detector when they come in.
I, Nicholas Kovach,
Solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
Charter of Orange Village,
and the Charter of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully, honestly and impartially
honestly and impartially,
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as part-time firefighter paramedic
as part-time firefighter paramedic
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Aboard. Thank everybody.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And I understand that there is some cake or some celebratory something. Council can decide to skip it and let them go for it. But we appreciate everybody's, wait, Nick, you need to come back and we appreciate you all and your interest in being part of the Orange Village team.
Thank you.
And if you don't feel like cake, you're welcome to stay in the meeting.
You guys can all go now if you want.
Is something you said?
It was something Brandon said. He told him to leave.
Being leave?
Brian wants cake.
Hockey can get the puck out of here.
So let's move on. Can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report of fiscal year 2018 through August? Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Yes, please.
Illuminate us.
Good evening. The Treasurer's report as of August 31st, 2018 is a total cash balance of $10,539,058.28. And then you also have the summary of the monthly and year-to-date activity. For August, the total revenues was $6,359,000 and some change. And that included the $5 million for the bond anticipation notes that we had previously approved at council. And then August expenditures was $1,002,000 some change. That was just for the August expenditures. And then you also have the summary of revenue and expenditures outlining the budget compared to where we are at August 31st. Year-to-date, we are at 67% of the year. The two items that I noticed that were higher than the 67% by a little bit more than just minuscule amount was the building and land. It was at 93%, and that's the rec trails project, which is being reallocated to the new rec program. So you'll see that that will go down to 0 next month. And then on page 2, information technology was at 74.73%, and that's just timing because of the workstations and projects that they did. They've completed more, pretty much most of their projects for the year. So that's why that's showing higher than the 67%. Other than that, is there any questions?
Good job.
Do you have any questions? Good. Thank you. If you'd call roll, please.
Yes.
Barron. Braverman. Klein.
Yes.
Cluter.
Yes.
Yes. Can I have a motion to approve the tax administrator's report of September 30th, 2018? I'll make a
Move.
motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. And Dana, if you would, please.
Okay, you have the tax administrator's report as of September 30th. The gross taxes for September were just over $350,000, which is about $104,000 higher than the same period of time last year. The year-to-date was $3 million, almost 3.4. Compared to last year, we're up $373,000 more than where we were at the same point in time last year. Compared to the annual budget, we're just about $62,000 less, and as I say every month, that is a result of the timing of when we anticipate having an increase in collections towards the second half of the year. Now, I wanted to point out on Pinecrest Development, the $28,469,000. That Pinecrest is the first time that we're seeing taxes for the tenants that are occupying Pinecrest. I've been working with Rita to make sure that we get all of the Pinecrest tenants and occupants accounted for. They are still missing a couple of them and have been sending out notices to those individuals to get them registered and declaring their income tax to the proper municipality. One other issue that they've been having is with the Ohio Department of Taxation doing the net profit taxes. Some of the when they're going to the website, some of the municipalities are reporting entities other than Orange Village, such as Cleveland, Shaker Heights, and even Seven Hills instead of Orange Village. So Rita has been working with those businesses to make sure that they get that corrected and get the income reported to the proper municipality. So we've been working very hard on trying to make sure that we get all of the money that for Pinecrest to Orange Village. Included in this quarter's report, they have done a catch-up with the tenants, and that 28,000 figure includes 13,000 from the tenants, and the rest of the income is from the construction projects that are still going on in Pinecrest.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Are those numbers significant when we have to go and divide the taxes among the other municipalities? Are we?
Pinecrest, we don't have to until you're 500,000.
Right, but I'm just asking. Your comment was that they're reporting for different.
Oh, the tenants, when they're registering, that they're going online and registering, and they're not sure which municipality, they're picking the wrong ones. And Rita's going through and getting that corrected, so they will be correcting, and they're getting the money reported into Orange Village. And
Particularly significant.
no, so far we've collected 13,000. He said that there were just a few of them that have been reporting things incorrectly, and I think that they've corrected them or working with them.
Correct, though?
Yes.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? All right, if you'd call roll, please.
Bilski.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Braverman.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Cluter.
Yes.
Huber.
Yes. And moving on to discussion of the bills to be paid for the month of October 2018 of $163,967.89, and additional September expenses in the amount of $55,647.62. Aaron, I do have one question here. For the lightning strike damage repairs, did we not use insurance for that, or?
We are, we're in the middle of, they'll reimburse us after. Okay.
All right, but we did make a claim, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. I assume that this is kind of lumped in with
Yeah.
both to an extent, but, okay. Anybody else have any comments, questions?
I have a question. The candle studio, that's, there's obviously a fee from that. Is that, where's that store in?
That's going to be in the second office building, one in the north.
Oh, okay. I'd not seen that.
It must not change the facade or anything.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
All right. No other comments?
Or they'll be before us if it is.
Move on. Moving on to audience comments relating to agenda items only. And old business of pending legislation motions. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2018-33, an ordinance providing compensation for certain village employees and repealing certain ordinances. This is on for third reading. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments on this? Yes.
The only
Did we,
time is the reversal of the chief of police and the lieutenant's
Yes.
salary minimums.
Did we ever get the overview of what people were earning now? Where was it? I never got it. I didn't get it.
Red line copy, I believe.
you had a spreadsheet of what everybody's,
It was in the last week's packet.
Oh.
there's a spreadsheet I can
Do you have a spare copy, Anna? Thank you. It's okay. I can get it then.
Do you need it prior to voting on it?
No.
Any other comments? All right, if you would call roll, please.
Bilski?
Yes.
Barron?
Braverman?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Luder?
Yes.
Duber?
This already was referred to P and Z, right? Yeah, but it hasn't been there. Moving on to ordinance 2018-35, an ordinance granting a rear yard setback variance to Mark and Caroline Kangas for the property located 29850 Smithfield Road, Orange Village, Ohio. This is on for second reading. I believe it's been referred to planning and zoning, but it hasn't gone through planning and zoning yet.
That's correct. I'm checking when it's going to be on the agenda, but I assume it's going to be before the second week in November, so maybe we advertise the public hearing and be ready to vote on the second week in November.
What's that for the second council meeting? In November.
Well, it's second reading now.
Yes, that works.
November 14th.
14th.
Already,
Okay, so we better have it on November 6th, the next agenda, October 23rd, or if we do November 6th, we can do it here till Okay.
And it's posted to the website.
And that counts as a public hearing? But
It's-
we have, did we get the letter out to everybody that's 600
You
feet?
give
Okay.
actual notice to the neighboring residents before the P and Z hearing, and then it's posted to website that council will be considering what was on the P and Z.
Moving on to new business, ordinance 2018-36, an ordinance enacting a new chapter 181 of the Orange Village Codified Ordinances to create the Orange Village Tax Incentive Review Council. This is on for first reading.
This is bit and parcel of the next ordinance, which is declaring a tax increment financing zone on the Chagrin Highlands South. This is a non-school TIF. It will not affect the schools. The state gives the municipalities a tool to work with and allows us, with no one else's permission, to capture the real estate taxes that would have gone to the county. I mean, we still get ours, but then we get the 29% that would go to the county. It's restricted to for use of, infrastructure that is related to it or connected or, it's broadly defined and it's in the ordinance. But I just don't even see the downside to this, and I had never heard of it before.
This particular ordinance just sets the Tax Incentive Review Council, which is, there's a state code requirement that if you have it, there has to be this process.
And no, we didn't do it for
The chair of the commission is the county fiscal officer, or the designee of that person. And so they have a number of people. What this does is it establishes that the mayor appoints and the council confirms these members. And the specific thing that it does is it'll set you up so that each January you're reappointing one of them for a 2-year term. So they'll have, the first one will be appointed and will be reappointed this coming January. The next one will be reappointed the following January.
is this a permanent commission?
What I've been told by Matt and Price is that this is a tool that the county uses because they want to evaluate the economic incentives that they've allowed to happen in the county. And they do this, and we may or may not be part of it.
Well, in some incentives, there are requirements that the employer engage a certain number of new employees or do some improvements to their facilities. So there's compliance with a contract that is enforced by the Tax Incentive Review Council. tax incentive review councils have to be used for TIFs, but not every TIF have compliance issues after the money's issued. So in this circumstance, all they have to do is pay the money back. There's nothing else that they have to do. So there will be nothing for this commission to do.
And we won't be benefiting from it, particularly, we'll just be holding the money for a period of time.
No, well,
We get to use the money and then the county decides.
well, hang on. Let's talk about two different things. The Tax Incentive Review Council
We should have done these in
is
first.
required by statute, and there will be nothing for them to be reviewing because there's no compliance issue. The second issue, which is not in front of you yet, that's the 37 ordinance, that one allows the village to TIF the non-school portion of the property taxes. Schools get their regular money and use
But
it
through us.
for, use it for, it's not important, use it for public improvement purposes because you have secondary impacts from that development on the south side of Harvard Road that you'll need to deal with. Additional pavement, additional
Police officers, we might.
but not necessarily. It's public improvements, not operational.
He said we could do
That's the next issue, that's not this one.
And the question is, if you collect this money to use to deal with the impact on our building, do we have an answer to the county or anybody that's going to use that money?
Well,
State code.
there's an obligation under law that you put the money into an account that has a specific purpose. And you will appropriate funds out of that account for the purpose. In the same way you collect infrastructure
Another
funds,
infrastructure.
it'll be very much like an infrastructure levy fund.
Mayor, do you have the people, the two members in mind whom you...
Thought about that yet, and I'm open to suggestions, but it's not, this is not a big deal. But I do also want to tell you that Matt and Catherine Swartz, which is Price Finley's local partner, will be here at the first meeting in November to answer these technical questions. We just thought you could read the ordinance between now and then, and at second reading, they'll be here to explain things. And Francis, I think you were asking this, or starting to ask the same thing. We never heard of this for the TIF that we would.
You beat me to it.
Price are here, or Price's partner. You can ask them why we didn't do it.
The statute's very odd in that there is a requirement that two members of the Tax Incentive Review Council be residents of Orange Village.
Okay.
But they can have a quorum of that council without them.
Oh.
So the designee of the fiscal officer, and there's a school board person who's entitled to sit on the board, and there's somebody else.
From anywhere, everywhere.
Well, no, because it's in.
Our little one.
Yeah, and the one in the south will be the Warrensville. So even though they aren't.
That's Orange Schools.
Right.
It's Chagrin Highlands on the north that went to Orangeville Heights.
Okay.
This land's always been in Orange, and it's part of the Orange
That's
Schools.
confusing to me.
It is.
Okay, but, so the one, when
Does the school board member have to be an Orange resident?
No, does not. Two members of the TIRC, it's called, the Tax Incentive Review Council, must be members. That's why we're creating the process, and your appointees that are confirmed by council will be Orange Village residents.
But we never had this process for the Pinecrest TIF. Isn't that interesting?
It's only a year old, and it may not have gone through the process yet, because we're at that time of
But
the
we
year.
never set one up.
We never
Never
set
heard
one
the
up.
term before, never came up.
Do we have any
Idea what the revenue stream will be from this?
If we estimate that the first phase is about, I'm going to lowball it, okay? Let's say it's 25 million. And taxes are about 2% of that. So what's that, 50,000? And then you get our share, but the additional amount that we're going to get is about 29% of that, so that's another 15,000. But that's every year for 30 years, and there'll be more value added there.
Would that be 500,000?
No.
What's
2% of 25 million?
The CPA.
500,000.
250,000, no.
No, it's 500,000.
500,000.
500,000. Yeah, right there.
10% is 2.5 million. 10% is 2.5 million, so 1% is 250,000, so 2% is 500,000.
Good job, Scott.
25,000 would be of 2.5, it's 500,000.
She's doing it on a little machine.
Why? Because I'm putting in 2,500,000. Yeah, 25 million, I put in 2,500,000.
It wouldn't be a,
To the younger people.
10% of it.
Taxes you
So we're picking up 145,000.
That's significant.
Very significant.
Everything that's already started there.
We get it in place
You
this
get this in
year.
place, right?
No, it's going to be measured as of 1/1/19.
Right, so.
But going forward,
Yeah, the valuation, the base valuation is established this year, and where they aren't developed. Next year, they will do a valuation, and the levy will be based upon.
But we've missed a little bit of the.
and they bill a year in arrears, right? They bill a year in arrears, like other property taxes, I assume? So this will affect us probably for the 2020 budget?
The 2019 value, which is the higher value in 2020.
Okay, so that's sizable dollars then, okay. And we do not, this is strictly for Orange, we don't have to split this with, okay.
because we're the only municipality. Well,
Comments on
what about
this?
what about the other communities that are part of the Chagrin Highlands Joint Economic Development?
Obligation to share income taxes.
Oh, that's only income tax that is not property tax? Okay, okay.
Not net profits.
Other comments? All right. Well, let's do the reading for ordinance 2018-37, an ordinance declaring the improvement of certain real property to be a public purpose pursuant to revised code section 5709.40B, declaring such improvement to be exempt from real property taxation, designating public infrastructure improvements to be made that will directly benefit such property, requiring annual service payments in lieu of taxes, designating a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payments, and authorizing compensation to the Orange City School District, and declaring an emergency. This is also on for first reading. We just discussed all that, so we'll move on to audience comments relating to matters which advance the good of the village.
Can I ask a question on that item? Relative, why does it authorizing compensation payments at Orange City School District?
I think the real estate tax that we're now tiffing will come to us and we pay it to the schools? It doesn't come, or do we tell the county?
They can handle it either way. I think it's an administrative issue as to how it actually gets paid.
So all the taxes, the entire tax is collected, and it then comes to Orange, to the Orange, and then we give it to the school?
By which the county just causes that to occur.
I think that's in the ordinance, actually.
Yeah,
that
it's,
we can tell the county.
they designate it and the county ships it, so it's as though, I mean, which pot are you paying it out of? It comes to the village pot at the county, and then the county sends the check to the
The school board?
Be here next week, right, or next meeting, yes.
In your other experience with these, does the school portion, have you had experience with this kind?
I haven't had this type of one where with the non-school today, so.
Then we'll wait for Matt to answer more questions. Moving on to the committee reports and comments by council members. Mr. Barron.
Hey, well, while I'm passing out some information from the school board, I'd like to let you know that the traffic light is being worked on at Pinecrest.
Yes, good.
The stanchion in for the new traffic signals. They have wired it. They're digging now to bury the cables. And I don't believe it'll be very long until the traffic lights will be integrated.
Very good.
far as what I just passed out, there's a page 1 and a page 2. The important thing to look at is page 2. And if you look in that first line, in the forecasts, they're forecasting in 2019, 33,276,000 deficit. In 2020, a 2,891,000 deficit. In 21, a deficit. In 22, a deficit. In 23, a deficit. So what they do is they withhold monies, and since they're basically property tax based, they try to hold back 6 months worth of revenue as their, let's say, their cushion. So they've been spending, if you look at the first page, this year they spent $48 million. So half a year would be $24 million. And you can see that that cushion keeps going down and down, and that's why they need to do a levy. So if they do a levy, which would hit in 21, they would get the money in 22. That's where you see a $3,181,000 coming in for property tax. And so the system is having a problem affording what they have right now. And so a tax levy is desperately needed to make sure that they don't go through that cushion of money that they by their internal
Accounting.
machinations they need to set aside. Not necessarily a state thing, but in their charter. Okay. So that's the first thing. Second thing.
Before you move on.
Yes.
Would you make sure that the attorneys coming in to see us in the first week of November will talk about how their levy would impact Pinecrest at all?
Why would there be any connection? In fact, the levy should be smaller and less frequent because of getting 800.
Well, I'm just asking whether if they have any comments. I would like to be.
Yes,
Well, I might not remember, so what I'm saying.
Remember.
I'll try and remember.
Okay. So, and I have these copies of a slide presentation. They're not great because I was sitting in the third row. But I'll give them to Anna and she can make copies for everyone. They talked about the K through 3 literacy, and that was where we got a grade of C. And so what they stated was that there were 11% of the kindergartners who were at risk when they came into kindergarten using the testing that only Orange Schools uses. The other schools use a more lenient test. And that's how they can be under 6%. If you're over 6%, then you are graded. If you're under 6%, you're not graded. So, looking up what the average kindergarten class has been, it's been about 130 kids. 11% is 14 students. 14 students came in and they couldn't get them to the level for the K through 3 literacy. They don't talk about numbers, they talk about percent. They say 11%. But it's only 13 kids. The other thing is they were talking about prepared for success component, and in that we got a B. But it doesn't tell us how we got graded because the information on the top doesn't match the information on the grading scale. And this is that confusion that I always talk about. They have next steps of what they're going to do. They have some very high-minded things, but nothing mentions about fixing the deficiencies. a tale of two districts that have basically the same composite grade but different components of that composite, and how can it be that they're not exactly the same components? This was their explanation, and it sounds to me like an excuse. The district overview, where we're hurting is in achievement. Our achievement got a B, and our K through 3 literacy got a C. If those were brought up, we would have gotten an A. I don't know how the rankings would have been, but that would have been the letter grade. Here are where we met the indicators or didn't meet the indicators. The two red X's where we didn't meet the indicators. These are 6th grade math and 7th grade math. These are both at Moreland Hills. Math is math. But no one has talked about what they're going to do to improve those. This is from the high school. They talk about that only the smart kids are taking geometry in the 8th and 9th grade, or the 7th and 8th grade, which means that they don't take it in the 9th grade. That means the less than stellar students take it in the 9th grade, which is high school, which this counts on. And for the second year in a row, they got a bad grade. They didn't meet the requirements for geometry. And this year, the problem was they had a substitute teacher that didn't teach probabilities, which is what I talked about before. Here they've talked about where they are in the standings. Again, they didn't say anything about how they're going to remediate it. They have things like through the teaching of a rigorous curriculum and maintaining the Orange tradition of innovative programming, blah, 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 which really doesn't address the problems. Here are the performance index trends. The Advanced Plus, Advanced, Accelerated, Proficient, Basic, and Limited. If you notice, Advanced Plus and Advanced increased over last year. The other 4 decreased. I guess one could make the argument that they're not taking care of the majority of the students. In progress for the 4th grade, we're yellow in mathematics. So if you're not good in math in the 4th grade, the 6th and 7th grade isn't going to be much better. And 7th grade, there's that math that they really bombed on.
Did you ask them about coming in here?
I am going to send them an email. Yeah, but I was just so distraught after Monday's meeting that I could not, without bias.
Are they distraught?
No.
We could give them a quick geometry class.
I don't
Children
believe,
could teach them geometry.
Mr. President, that's all I have.
They want an increase, they want a levy, really.
Mr. Braverman?
No, I have no comments.
Also, Mr. Barron, it's interesting if you want to look for the budgetary situation on the Orange Schools website. They always have the 5-year on there. And there was something, I don't know if they mentioned at this last meeting, with the closing of Beachbrook, they're going to be getting a refund from the state, and that enabled them to push the levy back a year. And it sounds like it's customary, the last half of an operating levy, that they drain, right, they drain the surplus there, so. But it looks like they were able to push it back a year, which I think is a positive. And by then, they should have a better idea of what monies are coming in from Pinecrest and everything. So, I don't have anything else.
Would be a rational thing.
Anything else, Mr. Bilski?
Nope.
Fine.
No report.
Thank you. Sure.
Yes. Thank Mayor and everybody involved with the demolition of the Red House. It is, I've taken pictures. It is wonderful. They've now got it, it's completely gone. No rubble. Looks wonderful. It's green space. It's very nice.
Speak for you.
I know, I appreciate that. So the saga is ending, but my yeah, but actually this leads me to say though, are there other properties around in the village that replicate that? And if so,
Come in one time during the day and talk to Tom and Bob and let them give you assurance of what they do and how they do it.
it's not that I don't believe that they don't do what they're supposed to do. I'm just saying, is there anything that, because this took many, many years, is there any way that we can have something on the books? You once brought me something. He did from, what was it, from South Euclid, and you didn't want any part of it. Why? I wasn't sure why.
Well, it would be possible to institute any of those things.
Okay.
And the question is, what is the need for it? And are we unable to handle the situations we have? I think when the Red House, when was that brought to our attention?
Years ago, I've been fighting this.
The first time about we went in.
Oh,
Was that last winter or the one before?
oh no, it was before that, Kathy. No, I've been bringing it forward forever.
So, like 18 months ago.
Prior to that,
About it.
we would just know, it was just that, the building inspector was looking at stuff, but it was okay, it wasn't that bad, people were driving past, it was bad. So I just want to know if there are other properties like that. What can we do to stop it getting to that awful point?
And property owners are entitled to due process. I mean, I think there was a period of time where they didn't know if they were going to be improving that residence or taking it down. And you can take them to court, and you can spend a lot of money pursuing a remedy that we ultimately achieved, but they're entitled to due process on it, and if you can get a cooperative result, that beats years and expense of litigation.
I don't know, compared to the Fritz House and the Anderson House, this was a breeze.
But there was somebody in, where was it? There was somebody we were having trouble with. We were going to court backwards and forwards, and I'm trying to, it was in the last year or two.
If you're talking about the legal case we had, that was...
Was it ever resolved? It was to do with somebody not maintaining property, I believe. So I just want to know if there's an eyesore like that, because you wrote about it. Is there anything we can do to...
do everything we can.
But if you had legislation that gave it more teeth...
Legislation that gives you a remedy.
I mean, you keep asking for something and Steve keeps telling me we have everything we need.
We have we use chapter 1331. It is a remedy that you give notice, an opportunity to be heard, and take action. They have a right to go to court if they want to go to court. That will slow things down. They have property rights.
Yes, so you told us.
Tear down that house.
No, I know that. Believe me, I've walked that walk for the last few years. No, I know all about that. I just want to know if we can put things out in a newsletter that indicates if there's any property that you feel is not measuring up, let us know. And if we do, then how can we move it along? And
Wasn't Bill Field's house that situation?
Pardon me?
Bill Field House in Orangewood, wasn't that the same?
Well, there was a property, yeah.
a house in Orange Hill.
That was the one I was thinking of.
That's the court case that was resolved and he doesn't live there anymore.
How many years did that take? How many years did that take, Mayor, though?
All of it's going to take time. I mean, even if it doesn't matter what legislation we have on the books, again, there's still due process, and there's still somebody's going to fight, and they can still fight to keep something there.
And how do we control blight? We're in a circle. We go back to Steve, and we go around in circles.
We rely on folks, neighbors, like
boy.
yourself, make a call, bring it to the attention.
Percentage, the vast majority of village properties are well kept. And when you don't have when you have a situation that is different, that is causing difficulty, we do hear about it, and the administration takes action on it.
Okay. I think a month or so ago, we were discussing just peripherally, at least I was, what could we do about reducing the waste stream with recyclables? And I said vaguely, because I'd read about it in another community in Cuyahoga County, where they're trying to introduce not plastic straws in restaurants, but paper straws, and start with something minuscule like that. But I don't know what we're going to do.
Steve about this actually, and he has for the last few months, and he's assured me that he's going to come up with some legislation for next month on a couple different issues.
It'll go to the administration for the staff meeting this month, and then
And we can throw in plastic bags, and what was the other thing I wrote down?
My concerns were to require businesses to recycle, and then the other one was,
plastic bags.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
to use paper bags instead of
Yeah.
the police docket of taking care
Oh,
of.
you know what, the sarcasm's kind of annoying on this, honestly. Like, this isn't something that is, like, completely unheard of. It's something that actually is in a lot of municipalities.
It
is.
Law, you need to think about how it's going to be enforced. That's
Fair, but the sarcasm, it's something that I think that we should look at without
When you
smirks.
brought this up, I asked you to find out what happened with the county. I don't even know if the county ended up passing theirs. Does anybody know?
There was one community on the west side that did. It was just straws, though. Oh, no, I haven't heard.
The county did.
Yeah,
The
good.
county did a whole big fight over plastic bags, and I don't know how that ended.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Same time do we want.
Well, I think that the plastic bottles, the plastic bags, and, yeah, I mean, we've got to do something.
Well, there's more going on than just asking more people to recycle. There's a whole lot of problems with recycling right now.
Yes,
And what we can recycle is changing.
yes.
Actually, the newsletter should have arrived.
But it's not just recycle.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, in a day or two, we wrote a whole article about
Good.
that in there.
But it's not just recycling, it's also what is easier to, for landfills. I mean, a paper bag is much easier for a landfill than a plastic bag. I mean, it's not just about
Plastic bottles, the plastic bottles, yeah.
So anyways,
Okay, so that's somewhere in the hopper.
I'm being told.
Yeah, okay, well, that's wonderful. I'm happy to hear. I'm sure the Swerky boys are really thrilled because they're pioneering this. They're ahead of me. What was the other thing?
Causes torture for them.
Else?
Yes, I was going to ask the mayor again, what's happening with the Weintraub property?
I know nothing, but other people have heard things. I know nothing more.
Nothing more than,
Just that we've had a series of people coming in and pitching their ideas and talking about it. Some seemed like people that would be great to work with, most do not. And if somebody ties it up and comes back with their plan, we'll go for next.
but wasn't it our thinking that we would like condominiums, if possible, on that property, if we could?
We're so far away from that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Oh, that's in the master plan. That conversation took place and is in the master plan.
Yes, but now that, you've got two commercial developments up and running, what are we going to do with?
Still want it residential.
And would that work if a developer's coming to us with, or could potentially take us to court if we don't agree with whatever he or she wants to do?
To the master plan.
Yes, the court if they want to, but that's why we put in place the master plan. That's why we have zoning. We have done everything we know how to preserve.
Protect ourselves, all right, that's what I just want to find
They
out.
can still take us.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, but no, we have put everything we can in place to say we want this residential.
That you haven't had anybody come up to you?
Anybody's come in and pitched a mall or a big box store to go away.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. And the other thing is, please, anybody, do not forget, we've got to vote in November, because our council meeting, I was just looking at the calendar, it's the day after, so please do not forget to vote. And that's it, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, comments? I don't really think I have anything either. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Second, said second.
Bilski,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Braverman,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Luter,
Yes.
Huber.
Yes.
Anna, could you get me those numbers, please? If there's a sheet lying around somewhere or other, please?